Well. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hardline Transport Solutions Truck Series here on V-Speed Racing Network. I'm Eddie Smith, and tonight we got action coming to you from Texas Motor Speedway in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it's going to be a awesome race. Got the trucks here tonight. We're going to be sending 5 home tonight. It is a cutoff race. 10 people in, 5 are going home. I want to thank Hardline Transport Solutions for their support this season, but it has all come down to 2 races to settle this thing. Let's take a look at your point standing. You see right there, Jonathan Cofield has the top spot, feels pretty safe in this race, but you see there right at that red line, that's your cutoff. 5 drivers will race for a championship, and Brandon Wallace has it. Tracy passes, Charles Stevens, Mickey Isaac, even Brett Beaver, they want it. You can't win and get in, so nobody below that cut line is going to be able to jump up and take that spot. So all that battling is going to be right there between Stefan Davis, Brandon Wallace, Tracy Patson, Charles Stevens Jr., and Mickey Isaac. And you can see just a, look how close that is. Just a 8-point swing between Mickey and Stefan Davis. So you got to have a good race if you're above that cut line. If you're below it, you're going to have to make something happen. You're going to have to try some pit strategy, something wild or crazy maybe. And you never know what could happen at a race like this. So going to be a fun one here tonight. We'll take a look at our driver cams tonight. Who we got on board? Well, we got Brandon Wallace. We got Kyle on the top part, Kyle Roberts. Got Josh Lokovitz there with the Apex shirt on. You got Aaron Adcock doing a little Undertaker impression there in the middle with Mickey Isaac there on the right. Charles Stevens down by his lonesome. Oh, you see Chuck up there at the top, decided to join us. Sun's out, guns out for Chuck, so that'll be a good one. As we get ready to go green, just getting ready for the grid, we'll take a look at your track information. Texas Motor Speedway. This is the new Texas, not the old Texas, located in Fort Worth, Texas. 1996, 150,000 people, and of course it's a 1.5 miler for sure. Take a look at the schedule, see where we are now, and you can see it has been a long one. Started in August, and here we are in December the 10th, and we are in the penultimate race for this season. Boy, it's been a good season. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the grid. We'll see where everybody starts. We got to give out the Chuck Peg Leg Pole Award, and who is that going to go to? It's going to go to Andy Kurtz. Not in the playoffs, but he is definitely somebody to watch out for here tonight, and he'll be the Chuck Peg Leg Pole Award winner. Congratulations to Andy Kurtz. Aaron Adcock, championship hopeful, going to start outside the front row. Andy laid down a fast slap. You see 29.561. Aaron 29.605. So Andy, the only driver in the 29.5s here. Michael Kostick rolls off third, and Lucas Lyon going to roll off fourth. Row number 3 going to be Jonathan Cofield, your points leader. Kyle Roberts there in the 6th position. 7th going to be Tracy Passons with Charles Stevens Jr. in 8th. All bubble drivers. Brett Beaver, another guy that can make something happen if some guys have some trouble. He's about 10 points back from the cutoff, but he is still in the fight. Josh Oakovitz is going to round out your top 10. 11th going to be Travis Beaver with Mickey Isaac, another bubble driver, in there in 12th. Garrett Kinder in 13th. Jeremiah Holt in 14th. With Stefan Davis sitting 4th in the points, trying to hold on to that spot. He's got a long way to go. Him and Brandon Wallace starting deep in the field tonight. That's going to be tough. 17th going to be Alan Nash, Steve McDonald in the 18th position. 19th going to be Chuck Phelps. Matt Clement going to start in the 20th spot, and then Gary Wright in 21st. Boy, look at it. The sun has gone down quickly, as here we are on the track, Craftsman Truck Series. Fixed setup 100 laps. Total setup, or total tire sets 4, so they got 3 in the pits, and of course they got that 1 fast repair if they need such a thing. And who knows, they may use all of them tonight. Texas, one of those tracks. It's definitely changed over the years, and this turn 1 and 2 has really changed the way this thing races. Such a interesting, they leveled it out. It's not as much banking, so it's harder to get in 1 and 2, and it's really important that you get down to speed, get back on the throttle, because you'll carry it all the way to 3 and 4 where you'll be wide open. And, yeah. Going to be a tough one. It's going to really, really separate the men from the boys here tonight. But Andy Kurt's going to lead us down to the green flag, 100 laps here in the penultimate race here in Hardline Transport Solutions, and we're green. After the first lap, it's Andy Kurtz, Michael Kostick with Aaron Adcock fighting on the outside of Jonathan Cofield, who has already made up a couple spots from where he started there down on the bottom. You're going to see a big draft here, as draft going to be extremely important for early on in this tire run. But what you got to be thinking about is the end of the tire run, when those tires start to fade out. So it's a balance of finding out when to push, who to let go, who to fight. Right now, it's definitely a tough decision if you're Tracy Passons here in the middle of the pack. You see he's running in that 5th position. We got cars and trucks all around him. So you got to make that call on which way to see Cofield. Oh, we got a 3-wide situation here. Kostick in the middle, 3 wide. Aaron Adcock on the outside. They could do that in 3 and 4 as the banking allows for it. They continue to do that. Now here's 1 and 2 is where it's going to really be interesting, is they bang a little bit, doors down to the start-finish line, and Kostick, I think, does the smart thing and just backs out. Aaron really trying to fight hard there on the outside. If he can make that work, see Tracy get a little bit loose. See if Aaron can clear him there as Alan Nash gets a little bit loose. Oh, no, that's Tracy. Tracy gets loose. Now he's going 3 wide. Kyle Roberts on the outside. Charles Stevens there, and Tracy gets right down in front of Brett Bieber. Obviously, a little bit nervous. Kyle Roberts gets into the wall. A lot of check up behind him. Lucas nowhere to go right in front of him. Kyle able to get it rounded back up, but boy, that was scary. You see these guys really pushing these trucks hard here early, especially on the outside. Will the tires be able to handle that? They say it is loose out there, so interesting decision to push hard. But like I said, you really want to make sure that you are getting position on the track. You really need it. Aaron Adcock now trying to get that top position as he is all over the back bumper of the 5 machine. I tell you what, started off really strong, Aaron Adcock did, but man, towards the middle of the season started to fall off just a little bit. But here the last few weeks, last week he was really good. Finished in the 2nd position. That's where he runs right now, as he's showing that he is here and ready to go. He ain't playing around, so all over the back bumper now. Is he using those tires up? Is he pushing too hard? You see how tough it is to get into 1 and 2. You want to get off the gas. You can't go full throttle into 1 and 2 here. Not in this new track. It's just too flat. We're here in 3 and 4. You can definitely go wide open. You can hear barely any lift. You see the run that he gets. Truck a little unsettled there as he lands in the middle of the corner. But watch 1 and 2 as we go down to the corner, and you see here the lift as he goes down into the corner and just how flat it is. That's a pretty good lift. For a track like this, that's a pretty solid lift, and that's what you got to do. If you're going to be fast here, you got to make sure you nail that 1 and 2. That's going to be the key all night. So if you're looking to see who's going to win this race, who's doing 1 and 2 the right way, who's checking up, slowing up, you can really drive it in there and make it work, as we got drivers. Lokovitz low on the track, and they hang on to it. Poor Kinder Farm and Ranch put up money, and they are not getting their money's worth, as we have not had that many wrecks in the last few weeks, and we're able to avoid one there as Josh Lokovitz, man, he has fallen back quickly. We'll see if we can go back and maybe see what happened here on the replay. You see Lokovitz go down to the inside of Lucas Lyons. Just get a little bit loose, make a little contact. And wow, what a save by him. So he's going to fall back to 15th. Go back up front. It is still got a little breakaway here from 1st all the way back to 7th. Brett Bieber leading the next group, but Aaron Adcock and Andy Kurtz currently run 1-2. You got Jonathan Cofield there in third, Tracy Passons, Charles Stevens Jr. You're going to see Tracy and Charles be running around each other all night long. Andy Kurtz not going to make the playoffs most likely. He's got 2 wins on the season, but just missed too many races to make it in. Aaron definitely feels pretty comfortable. He doesn't want to have a terrible night. No reason to push it too hard, but you've got to feel pretty confident along with Jonathan Cofield, who are pretty much locked in. Now, Tracy and Charles Stevens Jr., they are there right on the bubble, and they're going to keep each other at arm's length all race long. You do not want to let either one of them get away. So Tracy starts to pull away. Charles Stevens is going to throw his little hook out there and hook to the back bumper of that 53 and not let him get too far, because that's who he's racing. He's going to have to finish in front of Tracy Passons. Right now, Tracy looking really good as you got Stephon Davis and Brandon Wallace way back here in the back, 16th and 20th. So not a great start to the race for them. You see Charles Stevens now going to the inside of Tracy, taking advantage of Tracy having to lift just a little bit, trying to stay in line, and Charles is going to get the run, but Tracy gets a nice drive through 3 and 4 on the middle line, able to hang on to that spot. So you're seeing guys take advantage of runs when they get them, guys blocking, trying to maintain that track position. You don't want to go from 2nd all the way to 7th, because it can happen pretty quick. As Tracy's going to get a little bit loose, shoots up the track, able to hang on to it. Charles Stevens going to make contact. They'll wreck it on the back straightaway. Both of them, and caution is out as Tracy sitting backwards on the start-finish line, and I think there was some contact there with the 8 and Charles Stevens Jr., and that's going to bring out the caution. So, hey, look here. We got us a Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind. We'll take you back real quick. Go back a little bit further. We'll go on board with Michael Kostick and see exactly what happened. Just I think a little bit of checkup here. Guys, I think Kostick goes down to the middle, and yeah, the 88 just didn't know he was there. And when that happened, Charles able to kind of use Tracy Passons to get himself situated. See it again right here. And luckily, doesn't look like big damage to either one of those drivers. But, man, just sitting there talking about how important it is. And Tracy Passons now all the way in the back. Pit roads is wide open. So here early, 14 laps. Tire wear must be a big enough deal where these guys are going to come down pit road and get 4 tires. That will leave them with 2 more sets to finish this race off. Tough deal for Tracy. I mean, that is a big point swing. You'll take a look at the points. This is not live. This is before the race. And you can see there that red line. Tracy was in good shape there up front with Brandon and both Stephon Davis way in the back. And with that one fell swoop, that one little contact there where Tracy goes around, and now Tracy likely not doing good. And Charles Stevens Jr. was affected by that as well. He's on pit road getting some damage fixed along with, looks like Tracy as well. Tracy going to come off of pit road. They're going to be at the back. So all that they had gained, all that work, just gone like that. And it's just a product of Tracy getting a little bit loose, Charles trying to avoid it. And I think Kostick, I mean, he saw the opening and he had all the right in the world to take it. And tried to go 3 wide, and Charles Stevens just closed the door, and unfortunately, the 8 was there, and that's where they make contact. So I mean, there's nobody to blame in that scenario. I mean, Charles Stevens, could have had a little bit better heads up there, maybe could have avoided that, but and he is still on pit road. Charles sitting there, so if he goes a lap down, he may just be trying to get that damage fixed. As much as he possibly can. It looks like he may have more than what Tracy does. 1 minute and 15 seconds he sat there on pit road trying to get some of that damage fixed. So those who are happy about that is Stephon Davis, who has started in 15th, currently running 13th on that cut line. He is running in 13th, and that's going to definitely make him feel a whole lot better as now he's can look forward as the guys he was racing and trying to keep up with are now behind him. So Stephon Davis in good shape, and so is Brandon Wallace, who, although he's running in the 20th spot, comes down for some fuel. So Brandon Wallace always thinking about that fuel strategy. Up front, though, it's still Andy Kurtz, Aaron Adcock, Jonathan Cofield, and Michael Kostick, your top 4. Kyle Roberts rounds out your top 5. Brett Bieber, another one of those drivers, and we'll reference the point standings a lot just because there's a lot to talk about. But Brett Bieber there, he is 10 points back. With these issues these guys are having, it is definitely possible for Brett to get up there and get himself in the top 5, and currently doing what he needs to do right here, running right here in the 6th spot. So a lot can go wrong, a lot can go good. It just depends on where you sit. And right now, that was first big drama of the race for sure. Getting ready to go back green here on lap 16, coming to lap 17. Already been pretty racy. Put 4 new tires on it. We'll see if everybody took tires or not. Looks like Gary Wright, that 21, might have taken 2. Or just fuel only. I'm not quite sure. So we'll see if he can hang on to it. To go down into 1 and 2. Andy Kurtz gets a great jump. Cofield and Aaron Adcock following along. But the race up front is barely a race, and it sounds weird, but right now, I mean, draft being such a powerful thing that you're just not really able to get away. The draft is just too strong, and so it's just you can play in a waiting game. You're just trying to see if you can save as much tire as you possibly can and not let these guys get away. Andy Kurtz really can't drive any harder than he is. Being out front is really important, but see the draft that the trucks get. Cofield gets a big run, and Andy kind of tries to block that a little bit so he can maintain that track position. But it's a cat and mouse game early, and once the tires start to wear out, we didn't really get a chance to get to that point. Then you start to see the guys who have saved the tires start to work their way towards the front. So right now, I mean, you see Andy, Jonathan Cofield, Aaron Adcock running in the line. You know, I think Andy is kind of protecting the bottom, saying, hey, look, let's run in a line. Let's run away from these guys. Let's pull away. You said they're running side by side back here. Let's focus on just trying to get away. We can fight it amongst ourselves. And so it's almost weird working with your competition, but sometimes that is what you got to do. Michael Kostick, though, under fire. Kostick very, very good at saving his tires. I wonder if he's not saving them, and it's causing everybody to check up behind him. It's, you know, sometimes you want to lift even in 3 and 4 trying to save your tires, and some guy's going wide open. Kind of has a little bit of conflict of interest. Kyle Roberts really trying to make that outside work. Almost like a super speedway. You don't have really much room to breathe here. And for Kyle Roberts, really just nowhere to go. He's just trying to wait on Kostick to get something done. See Brett Bieber going to pull up in front. But it's a cluster of drivers here. Mickey Isaac, another one of those playoff drivers. He is trying to have a good finish. And those guys trying to move forward now with the issues with Tracy. Trying to make something happen. Tracy Passon's running at the back of this little pack. Stephon Davis right behind him. Or, excuse me, Tracy running behind Stephon. And now Tracy looking down to the inside. These are important positions. So Tracy trying to get up there, make that pass. He's got to make up at least 4 or 5 spots on Stephon to have that. Now, Brandon Wallace back here in the 19th position. Don't know if he's thinking about fuel strategy or just missed the setup here tonight, but he's really struggling. Right now, he's running back in 19th position. We'll we'll stay here, man. Look at the cluster of trucks we got here. They're just all over the place. Garrett Kinder has come out of that group. Now trying to run down this top 3 who have continued to pull away about a second now. Garrett should be able to get the draft, but how much tire are they using to make these passes and get up through this little group of cars? They are closing up on them. See Kyle Roberts. Garrett Kinder now kind of pulling away. Caustic riding back there. Don't know if he has some damage, but I mean, if I know Caustic like I do, he's always one of the best at saving tires. So I don't know. I don't know if he really wants to run back there, so he may have some damage, but I don't know. It's hard to say with him. He's a tricky driver. Right now he's got Brett Bieber all over the back bumper. All right, 13 laps in. Oh, we got a big wreck back here. Holy moly, it's multiple playoff drivers. As Tracy Passon's gone around again, so was Mickey Isaac involved in that. The 21 of Gary Wright. Let's go back and see what happened. Watch right here and see what happened. You see Tracy Passes there just across the start-finish line. Brett Bieber, Josh Lokovitz there, Mickey Isaac there on the outside. And Tracy going to push up the track into Mickey Isaac, and Travis Bieber head on into the wall. Hard hit. And Josh Lokovitz going to go around. It looked like it all started with Tracy Passons as he loses the front end. It's Gary Wright. Good grief. Watch it again as you see Tracy. Let's go back a little bit. Just how difficult it is to get into turn 1. Trying to get slowed up, trying to make some moves. But just look at him. He's going to slide up and just drives it too deep into the corner. And it just gets a little bit tight. And when he does, goes around. And, man, Travis Bieber. On board with Travis as he really got clobbered in that one. And Gary Wright on board with him as he's coming around through this wreck. And yeah, oh my God. You're right, just trying to drive through the wreck, yeah, and I don't know. That's weird. Just drove right into him, so. I ain't never seen that, though. All right, well, under yellow flag, as Gary Wright has called it quits, but Aaron Adcock going to be your leader as he stays out on tires. Interesting calls here. Trying to save a set, maybe only 15 laps on these tires. Really only about 12. So opting to hold on to a set. They have 4 total, and they've all used 1 for sure. And now Jonathan Cofield, Caustic, Alan Nash. Oh, they did not come down and take 4 tires. They took fuel only. So Cofield, Caustic, and Nash, fuel only. Andy Kurtz, like he took another set of tires. Steve McDonald got a little bit of damage fixed on his stop. Brandon Wallace, Charles Stevens, again, fuel only. So lots of fuel only here. So we're going to see some tire differences here on this restart. But, yeah, it looks like guys electing to come down and try to get some of that fuel, make it to the end if they can. Well, if you're Tracy Passons, I mean, it's gone from good to bad to worse. I mean, it's about the worst thing that could happen for that 53 machine, involved in 2 wrecks. And, you know, the first one definitely not his fault. Really wasn't. I mean, he got loose, but it didn't really have anything to do with him. This time, I think, I mean, it was definitely just drove it too deep into 1 and 2, trying to get back up through the field, just driving a little bit too hard, and makes contact with Mickey. You can see that left front, that truck is really tore up there on the left side. So he spent about a minute on pit road trying to get some repairs, but unfortunately, it looks like Tracy is going to have an uphill battle. Doesn't mean he can't get it done, that's for sure. So much can happen. We've already seen a lot so far, but he's got to make it easy on himself. He keeps making it harder and harder on himself. So here we go, getting ready to go green. 69 laps to go. Nice. Green flag back out as Aaron Adcock going to lead them down to the start-finish line. See Travis Beaver coming out of pit road there, trying to get about 4 minutes of repairs on that 114 machine. That's the danger of being at these draft tracks. It's just what happens, is you end up around each other all the time. 13 giving a push to the 35. Trying to get him to go on. Get up there. Got Po Man 1, 2, 3. And you got Bandits. Jonathan Cofield right behind him, and another Po Man there right behind him. So Cofield in a Po Man sandwich at the moment. As he's got Michael Kostick right behind him. And Daniel Cunningham in chat did correctly say something about the fact that Kostick may have some damage from that earlier incident. So he might just be nursing that 8 machine. He does come down pit road, and I mean, you would think he might want to go ahead and get that fixed if you felt like it's affecting him. So I just wonder if he's not taking it easy. You don't want to give up track position, but I mean, if your truck's not running right and you have damage to be fixed, you might want to go ahead and get it fixed so you're not falling back during a green flag run. But honestly, I feel like Kostick is just too crafty for that. I think he knows exactly what to do, and I would bet he is just trying to save those tires for a long green flag run if we get one. Up front, though, it's getting wild as Jonathan Cofield looking down to the inside here of Kyle Roberts. See the top side on those cooler tires. That top side will work. Once those tires heat up, that top side will be tougher and tougher to make work, I think. 3 and 4, you're pretty much wide open to using the draft to get a run on somebody. But you'd like to be able to get the run. I mean, the best way to do it is to get the run off of 2 here. But you see just how much you have to check up to make sure you get the speed off of turn 2. It's make or break. Man, Aaron Adcock's going to get into the wall a little bit. That's going to open the door for Garrett Kinder in the 13 machine. Going to go to the front, take advantage of that as a drive down in 3 and 4. We'll see if the 17 tries a crossover, a little switcheroo, not quite able to do it just yet. And going to get right behind Garrett Kinder and push him. So Aaron pushing it a little bit. Right, see how much that right front takes a beating as you drive down to the corner. You're really leaning on it. And if you get on the throttle too soon, that truck just really pushes out towards the outside wall, and I think that's what happened to the 17. Like I said, the 17 all but locked in, but doesn't need to have disaster. Tracy Passon's currently feeling that right now as he is all the way back here. See, nobody around that 53 machine, so disappointing night for him for sure. Starting to heat up here up front as Cofield continues to try to get around Kyle Roberts. Kyle not making it easy. He's going to come down on the door of that 58 machine and not making it easy. I think the bottom in 3 and 4 is pretty dang good. So Looks like Kyle will have to give up that, but he's going to fight hard there on the outside. Still there on that right rear quarter. You see Andy Kurtz trying to push the 58 ahead of that 35. You see 3 and 4, the bottom works a little bit better because you're wide open. Anytime you're wide open or close to it, the inside's always going to be faster. But in 1 and 2, you see you have to lift, and so that makes the outside a little bit stronger because they're able to use the exit of the corner. And Kyle fighting, but Jonathan Cofield able to take that spot over. Now Kyle in danger of losing the 5th position, and he does. Gonna fall back to 5th. Gonna try to close the door there on Brett Bieber. Brett, though, he says, I'm coming along with it. Frustrating for Kyle, but doing everything he can here. As now Andy Kurtz goes to the inside of Jonathan Cofield. Kurtz with those 4 tires. I mean, that's the difference in tires at the moment. You see Andy able to really go wherever the hell he wants. And if he gets a long green flag run here, I think Andy is going to be in the best shape. Andy fell pretty far back on that restart outside the top 10, and he's already back up to 3rd. You can see just the difference in the tires that he has, and I believe he's the only one. I think Kyle Roberts may be no, Kyle definitely stayed out. So Andy Kurtz, the only driver to come down and take tires. So I think Andy is down to 2 sets left. Up to 2nd. Definitely can feel the difference in the tires, just how quickly he's able to get back on the throttle. Look at the run he's going to get off the corner. As they come off of 2, Andy Kurtz going to go down to the inside, and I think it is no battle to be had there for the 13 as the 5 on those 4 fresh tires. Just too strong. So, I mean, that's the difference in about 15 lap tires those guys have on them. Now, if we get more cautions, you know, Andy's going to be behind the 8 ball. He's only got 1 set left. That's what, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, only 1 set of tires left on that 5 machine, if I'm right. I'm pretty sure he took tires on the first stop, and I know he took tires this time. But yeah, I think he's banking on a long green flag run here, and if that's the case, I think he'll be definitely in the best position, and maybe the first driver to be able to kind of pull away here as he's already out to about 3/10. As here comes Brett Bieber. I wonder if Brett's not also on fresh tires, because he is definitely turning some really fast lap times compared to even the leader. I like this strategy. I like being aggressive, and Brett, I mean, he's 10 points back, but already we've seen guys have trouble. I mean, Tracy Passon's pretty much out of this race at this point with that damage. He is going to go a lap down quickly, and that will, if he goes 2 laps down, it'll definitely end his bid for the championship 5. But right now, Brandon Wallace running back to 15th. And Brett Bieber can get up here and finish in the top 2 or win the race. I mean, that could propel him up to that cut line. So he is doing everything right now, making calls. I mean, Hail Mary is what he's got to do. Being that far back, he's 10 points back from the cut line. He's got a lot to make up, and right now he should be pretty damn close. So you see, whoa, we got Stephon Davis, Garrett Kinder. I think Garrett might have maybe caught the wall a little bit, and then the guy that I was about getting ready to talk about, Stephon Davis, who started deep in the field, up 10 spots, 15th to 5th at the moment. Now, he does have those new tires as well, so he is on the same strategy that Andy Kurtz and Brett Bieber are on. And so these guys that did not come down pit road and take 4 tires, they are hoping for a caution pretty quickly so they can come down and take their set. But if we go green all the way, Andy, Brett, Stephon, they are in great shape. So Stephon making his move here, doing what he needs to do to get into this final 5. He's already in. but just barely, just 3 points above the cut line. So he needs to have a good race. And right now, everybody he's racing is well outside the top 10. Here he goes down to the inside, using those tires, going around Aaron Adcock now fighting for fourth. As those up front are starting to fall back quickly. As you can see the difference in tires. Aaron going to fight back there on the inside as Stefan goes a little wide in 3 and 4. But I think Stefan's going to have the tires to battle him off into 1 and 2. We'll see what he can do here. Just drives it down in there. Look at the tire difference. As Stefan able to make that outside work. Comes off the corner. Going to have the run. He's going to have that position. Up to 4, Stefan Davis. We will wait till after the race is over. Once we do interviews, we will give it a minute to populate the race, and we will give y'all the Championship 5 officially once this race is over, so definitely stick around, and we'll talk to those 5 after the race. Try to get as many interviews as we can. Talk to those who are going to be racing for a championship next week. Who's it going to be? And we know it's going to be John Cofield. We'll take a look at the point standings one more time. It's a lot we're going to talk about, but I want to give you that visual. You see Cofield, like I said, it would be very, very difficult. It's not impossible. It would be very difficult for him to lose that position. Michael Kostick as well. They need to just finish where they are, not have any crazy disconnects, and they'll be fine. Aaron Adcock pretty close to being pretty good. Just no disastrous issues, but I mean, we've already seen that could happen. But Stefan Davis, Brandon Walsh, Tracy Passons, Charles Stevens, Mickey Isaac, and Brett Bieber there. Those are the battles. Andy Kurtz, while he's up front, might come away with the win. Going to be too far back, I think, to point himself in. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, if everybody has trouble in front of him and he wins this race, you just never know. But I'm pretty sure him missing a race is going to take him out of contention. You see Aaron Adcock get really loose off of turn 2 as he is trying to fight back with Stefan Davis. Those tires starting to equalize maybe just a little bit here as everybody's starting to run similar times. So I thought those tires might last a little bit longer. And while Andy and Brett are still faster by about a 10th, it's not that much. We'll see once the tires go through their different stages, how that affects it. I mentioned it before, just how the tire wear seems to work as in reference to lap times. You run a certain lap time, for about 5 to 10 laps, and just slowly drops, and all of a sudden it'll drop off about 4 or 5 tenths, especially here where turn 1 becomes just even more treacherous as the grip of the tires start to really fade. And then really drops off quickly. I mean, right now, just after 25 laps, it's already a second different in time, and it'll continue to do that. But there's plateaus where it'll be 3 or 4 tenths drop off instead of just half a tenth or so. And once these older tires hit that next plateau, that'll propel Andy Kurtz, Brett Bieber, Stefan Davis even further ahead. As now see the leaders dealing with the lap traffic of Tracy Passons. As we got people coming down pit road, Garrett Kinder, Kyle Roberts, and Chuck Feltz all coming down pit road. 4 tires and fuel. This should get them to the end of the race, I would imagine. Four tires and fuel for the 13. We'll see if they can get off the pit road, how far they're going to fall. And right now, you got to imagine Andy Kurtz and Brett, they have to continue on their advantage and continue to push forward, I would imagine. I don't think you want to come down pit road and take your final set here, so I think they're going to have to run it all the way out, I believe. And I can't imagine they would have any other strategy than that. Cofield back here in third. He's doing a great job still on those older tires. Came down and just took fuel only on the last stop, so he is sitting in between 4 tires. So Cofield's showing his strength here in this one as he is able to manage these tires just about better than anybody else, and he is actually keeping pace with the 2 leaders at the moment. So, I mean, we saw him being pretty aggressive on lifting going into 1 and 2, and that's going to really pay dividends towards the end of this run. But how far can he go on fuel? He should be able to go around the same length as the guys in front of him. But how long is he going to wait before he comes down and tries to do that undercut, try to get over the top of these guys? If you're Andy Kurtz, Brett Bieber, I think you just got to you got to play you got to play the tenths and the seconds here. I mean, if Cofield, Stephon Davis come down pit road, I don't think if you're going to win the race, I don't think you can sit around and wait too long. But we'll see what their strategy is, what they decide to do. Aaron Adcock had come down pit road as well. He comes out running 16th, 1 lap down. Tracy Passon still owns that lucky dog position, but Aaron Adcock, Garrett Kinder not too far behind as Mickey Isaac going to get into the wall there as Aaron trying to go down to the inside. We have 40 laps to go in this race to set the final 5 for the championship next week at Phoenix. Charlotte, excuse me. Where are we? Yeah, Charlotte. So if you're Aaron, if you're Kyle, if you're Garrett, Chuck, you're racing on pins and needles at the moment. These guys didn't come down for fuel that time that everybody else. So they stayed out, took that track position, but they had to come down quite a bit earlier than everybody else. So right now it's a nervous energy with that Poman bunch right there. They have a lot to. If a caution comes out, they're in big trouble. They do not want to see that caution. They'll have to stay out, take the wave around. They'll be behind fresh tires, on older tires, albeit only 3 or 4. So they definitely do not want to see a caution before the pit cycle completes. And it's going to be a few laps before that happens as these guys stayed out a little bit longer. Andy Kurtz starting to stretch that lead over Brett Bieber. You see Jonathan Cofield just another 8/10 back from Brett. It's starting, the drama starting to build here. Who is going to come away with this? And right now, Brett Bieber got to feel pretty good. No matter what happens at this point, if we get another 5 to 10 laps, I think if you're Brett, you got to feel really good about where you are on the track in relation to everybody else. Stephon Davis still running in 4, so he feels pretty good too. Brandon Wallace has cracked the top 10, and he currently runs in the 9th position. So, Brandon trying to keep pace. Brett really needs those drivers to start to fall back. I think at this point, Brett is not in, even though he's doing about everything he can. With Charles Stevens, Brandon Wallace being in 8th and 9th, that's not going to be enough he can overcome. So, Brandon can continue to push forward, get inside the top 10. Of course, the problem is when they come down pit road, Aaron Adcock, Kyle Roberts, he'll lose about 4 positions. Will knock him outside. So that could be good for Brett Bieber. So it's going to be hard to say. It's going to be really close. I wish we had live points. One day we will have that for y'all, but this time we just don't. So it's just a lot of guesswork. Mickey Isaac back here in the 13th spot. He's had some damage, been involved in incidents that didn't really have anything to do with him, but currently running in 13th, doing all that he can to stay in the fight. Right now, Tracy Passon's the only driver that's pretty much out of it. But so much can happen. Never know. Tracy, he is a lap down. Mickey Isaac, the last truck on the lead lap. Oh, my goodness. And Mickey Isaac got real loose coming down pit road. Let's take a look at that. That was crazy. Take a look at it on the replay. I think he decided at the last minute to come down pit road. Look at that. Woo! I don't know if he got down. He spun a joker out, didn't he? Hopefully he got down on pit road speed, but that was a close call there. Mickey Isaac. Gonna lose a lot of time on the track, though. That's a disappointing thing to have happen. You don't want to lose any time. So Mickey Isaac now having trouble. So there's been a lot of bubble drivers having issues here tonight at Texas. But one driver that's not, Brett Bieber. Holding on tight, Andy Kurtz out front. Those two are teammates. Jonathan Cofield there. As here we go, got 4 pit stops. Michael Costa going to bring that 8 machine down pit road. Just not had the race that maybe he wanted with that damage. But just knowing that he just needs to stay in the race, not have any kind of disaster. Uh-oh. What happened here? He just needs to get on and off pit road, get to the end of this thing, and think about Charlotte. And you see Charles Stevens coming down pit road as well. So pit road is open. Andy Kurtz now coming down pit road. So pit road is wide open. We'll see where everything kind of cycles out. As we know, those Poleman drivers been out on fresh tires for a while. Garrett Kinder's been 12 laps. Chuck Felt's 12. Aaron Adcock 11. So they have had quite a few laps of fresh tires to make up some difference. But Cofield now the only driver. Oh, as he's coming down pit road, he's going to spin it. Cofield going to spin it on entry. The 58 machine gets hard on the brake. He's going to go out on the grass and does a 360, and that's going to really, really hurt his chances. So, man, all kinds of trouble for these playoff drivers as, man, Jonathan Cofield, who, like I said, feels pretty good about where he's at. He's probably okay, but you definitely don't want to even put the idea in your head that you might miss this thing. So, Brandon Wallace now showing as your leader, still has yet to come down and make his stop, along with Cofield, who's now making his stop. As here comes Brandon Wallace, same thing. Ooh, don't speed. I think he was able to get down to speed limit. Now Brandon Wallace brings the 99 machine down on pit road for his final stop. So we will race to the green here. Is now Aaron Adcock. Kyle Roberts will take over the top two spots as they'll pass Brandon Wallace there on pit road, but Andy Kurtz not that far behind. He should run him down pretty quickly, about a half a second, a lap faster Andy Kurtz is, which makes sense. I mean, these guys are on 15-lap older tires. Definitely took a strategy call to propel themselves out front as much as they possibly can. They will lose the lead. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Andy's going to be flying too fast, but they might settle in comfortably inside the top 5. So pretty good little call there for Aaron and Kyle. Chuck sitting in the 8th position. He was able to take advantage of that as well. Garrett Kinder, not really sure what trouble he's been having, but he's back in 13th, so he didn't really able to take advantage of it, so I'm not real sure what happened to him. Andy Kurtz now within a second and a half of Kyle Roberts. They go around the lap traffic of Tracy Passes, who now goes 2 laps down. He's still in the lucky dog position. Going to need a couple cautions. He's actually going to pull off down low and let those guys go. And I think Tracy, now that he's gone 2 laps down, has comes back up on track. As he was just letting the leaders go. But if he goes down another lap, I think it's a nail in the coffin for Tracy. Just a disappointing way to finish the season. What I thought was a strong season for that 53 machine. But out front is Aaron Adcock. Going to have the lead for just a little while at least. A little sinus issue tonight, so definitely the flu race for him. But, and look at Andy Kurtz. He has done caught up to these guys. And like I said, I don't think there's really much that these guys can do here. In lap, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, is Kyle making it real nervous for Andy. Gets loose, almost comes down and hits him in the right rear quarter. That would have been bad. But Andy able to avoid him. Andy just has to get the run here on the 17. I think if you're 17, you know you're too smart to fight too hard. He has got way fresher tires, so you got to let him go. And keep your head down. You're going to end up at least 3rd for the 17. And Brent Bieber is coming as well. And then it's an 8-second gap back to Michael Kosik in the 5th position. So while they are going to lose these spots, they are still in a really, really good position. And if we have a late race caution, as long as my my screen is correct and what I've been trying to keep up with the tires. I don't get to see on my screen the tire usage, but I just kind of guess based on the times that they spend on pit road. If a caution does come out, man, we'd be feeling really good for Kyle Roberts and Aaron. And Kyle Roberts actually takes over the third spot from Aaron. So, been an exciting race. A lot has gone on. If you're just joining us, Tracy Passon's had trouble 2 wrecks in a row that he was involved in. Now runs back in the 19th position, 2 laps down. Trouble also for Mickey Isaac, who currently runs in 17th position. Both those drivers were out of the playoffs, needed some good runs tonight. About 3 or 4 point swing, they would have been in the playoffs. But problems have put them way back in the pack. Brandon Wallace now running in the 15th position. He's got fresh tires and a lot of cars in front of him, so he might be able to crack the top 10 before the end of this race with just 20 laps to go. So a lot can still happen, but if you're a fan of Stephon Davis, and I know we got those folks in the chat, he is currently running in the 6th spot, and he was already coming into this thing driving that Silver Bullet. And if this thing ends right now, Stephon Davis in great shape. Now, the only caveat is Stephon Davis, I believe, has taken his final set of tires. Only 4 they had in the race, and I believe he's taken sets on each one. So if you're Stephon, you're in that same boat as Andy Kurtz and Brett Bieber. If a caution comes out, you're going to be in big trouble. So that's something to keep in your mind. But right now, Stephon Davis, even with something like that happening, he may turn out to be okay, but he would much rather see this thing go green all the way to the end, finish in 6th spot, maybe 7th, and put her on the truck, take her to Charlotte, and fight for a championship. Just been a great season, a quiet season, even though I've been trying to holler his name all season long. And I thought when we got to one of these short tracks that we would have a win for Stephon Davis, but he has been fast all year long. Going to have to dig down deep, though, find that qualified speed for Charlotte next week. It's going to be a tough battle if he's going to win this championship, but he's definitely earned the spot so far in the final 5. If he can get this thing done, finish it up here at the end of this one. Right in front of him, it's a lot of cars. As you see Matt Clement there, he is a lap down as Aaron Adcock continues to fall off a cliff here. I don't know if he's got some damage. I think he does. He must have hit the wall at some point. Because we saw Kyle Roberts go around him, and then all of a sudden, Aaron. I caught you. You can't slide nothing by me. Might be some fuel concerns for that 17 machine. As he's lifting here a good bit, getting back on the throttle, but we caught him clutching in turn 1, so maybe a fuel concern for the 17. That's why he's dropping so far back. Kyle Roberts on the same strategy. There you go. You see lifting there all the way down to 0. So Aaron thinking about fuel, might be a little close. Don't forget they stayed out under that one caution where everybody else came down and got fuel. So going to have to run a little bit longer. And see, now he's clutching in 3 and 4, so definitely a concern for that 17 machine. And he is not. He's pretty safe. He's in good position, but he is not 100% safe in these point standings. He does not need to run out of fuel. I think he's doing the right thing, playing it safe, making sure he's got enough fuel to the end. And he is really clutching here, trying to make it to the end of this race. I think it's a great call. How much room is he going to, how much space is he going to give up? But if he can't make it, he can't make it. Kyle Roberts, he's coming down pit road, so he definitely cannot make it. He's going to give up a lap or 2 to come down pit road. Kyle not in the playoffs, but he comes down to get probably fuel only, I would imagine. I can't imagine he'd come down and get final set of tires, but I think he might. More tires and fuel. Lucas Lyon coming down pit road as well, and he's got a speeding penalty. So Lucas comes down, and he has definitely got some sort of penalty as he's now 44 seconds unless he made a lot of contact with the wall. So now the question is, can Aaron Adcock make it on fuel? My goodness, there's so much drama here for these playoff drivers. And right now, if you're Brett Bieber, you're in a great position. I mean, you've done all that you really can do with 13 laps to go. You're praying for no caution. And Brett has done all he can do. All the thing that can happen is for his teammate to move over and let him win this race. And, you know, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that happens. And while you could say, well, that's not cool or whatever, yeah, I think it is. Their teammates, they can do whatever the heck they want. Andy wants to give up a win, allow his teammate to win. I think that is perfectly fine. So Brett didn't get the win. He has done all he could do. He didn't lead the most laps, but if you can get up there and lead the final lap, that's about all you can do. And then you kind of leave it in the hands of everybody else. We'll go through the field and see where the other playoff drivers are that are right there on the cut line. We talked about Stephon Davis here in the 5th position. With just 10 laps to go, feeling pretty good. He is solid in points. He was in already, so this should continue to allow him to be in the final 5. Charles Stevens Jr. there in 9th. He was on the outside looking in. He was right there with Tracy, and now he's running inside the top 10. Is that going to be enough to get him into the final 5? Brandon Wallace, who was right there on the cut line. He was the cutoff driver. He is on fresh tires, and he's got to be aggressive here and get around as many drivers as he possibly can, because you never know what's going to happen. As Garrett Kinder has come down the pit road to make his final stop as well. But Brandon Wallace going 3 wide here as the 17 still trying to make it on fuel. He's going to drop back to the 12th position. The disaster for Poman with that strategy. They really missed it on the strategy call, and that's putting them in a precarious situation where they're trying to save fuel. Here comes Chuck Feltz down on pit road. So he can't make it. So Aaron Adcock's trying to salvage everything that he can and hang on to this points lead that he has above the cut line. He should be okay. But you really don't know. Is Lucas going to drive up behind him? Really. Lucas Lyon running to the back of the 17. Don't know. I mean, this all started. I mean, Lucas had some issues with the 17 at the beginning of the year. We saw that amazing battle. I wish I had the thing queued up. But an amazing battle as the 25 bumping the 17. I don't know if there was an accident between them or what, but we know that at the beginning of the race, or beginning of the season at Michigan, the 25 going to go around in there, but the 17 and the 25 made contact coming down to the start-finish line. Aaron Adcock wins the race, so don't know if there's been some bad blood here tonight, but we know we've had it some point in the season. Continue to watch Charles Stevens now pushing up through the field. Brandon Wallace is broken into the top 10. It's going to be close, boys and girls. This points battle has really heated up, and I cannot wait to see who's going to be in this thing once this thing is over. Charles Stevens trying to go to the inside of Alan Nash. Every point could matter, especially when you don't know where you're battling. You don't know who you're battling with. You don't know where the points are. Yeah, Aaron didn't get hit by auto fuel, I don't believe. I think he came down pit road because he stayed out under one of the cautions and had to go a little bit further than everybody else. Those drivers who have come down pit road, the Poman, under the same strategy. So Aaron really trying to make it to the end of this thing. He's got 5 more laps to go. And, I mean, all of this is really changing the points battle. And Andy Kurtz, I mean, we'll take a look at the points one more time. I know y'all are tired of it, but, I mean, look here. I mean, Andy Kurtz was quite a few points out, but, you know, just depending on how many points he can gain and how many points people don't get, I think it's a you know, I think it's pretty far-fetched for Andy to say he's going to get in. But I mean, Brett Bieber there, only 10 points off the cutoff. About 14 points, actually. It's definitely possible. But right now, Charles Stevens, I mean, he is trying to get separation from Brandon Wallace. You see, he was about 4 points ahead or behind Brandon Wallace. And he's trying to battle these guys and get ahead of them as Brandon Wallace is 4 places back. So, going to get loose off of turn 2. Alan Nash going to go back around him. So, Charles struggling here to make this work, but he is trying everything he can. Brandon Wallace, see him back there. You see him way back in the back. He's running in the 10th position. But if I had to guess, based on just where they run and where they needed to be, I think Stephon Davis, Brandon Wallace, I think they'd make it into the final 5. But we'll see. 2 laps to go here. Aaron Adcock gonna surrender 12th place, and he's gonna come down pit road for likely just a splash and go, but does that put him in danger? He's gonna fall all the way back through the field, probably around 17th position or worse. So the 17 comes down pit road, cannot make it on fuel. You see he'll be on pit road for just a second. Oh, man, that is a lot of fuel. He's trying to burn it out to get off pit road. That was a lot more than I think he needed to take to get to the end of this thing. But as you see the leaders go by right here, Andy Kurtz, Brett Bieber. White flag is out here for Andy Kurtz, Brett Bieber. Who's going to win this race? Will Andy let his teammate win and give him the max points that he needs, or he's going to hold it off? We'll see if Brett tries to make a move here off of turn 4. He's going to look down to the inside, but Andy Kurtz not having any of it. Takes the checkered flag. And Andy Kurtz is going to win a fantastic race here at Texas Motor Speedway. Barney waving the checkered flag as everybody comes across the line. Aaron Adcock going to finish in the 17th position. Man, nervous energy. As that is a lot of movement here on the points. We'll see once the point totals finish up where that will all play out. Andy Kurtz going to burn it down here on the front stretch. Giving the landscaper something to think about as Michael Kostic comes in. Full speed there. And oh, my goodness. Big hit from the 58. As number 5 going to have to tow after that one. That was a big hit. All right. Well, whew, that is a wild finish. And let's take a look at the results. Andy Kurtz, Brett Bieber, Jonathan Cofield, your top 3. Michael Kostic, Stephon Davis, Steve McDonald in 6th place. Alan Nash in 7th position. Charles Stevens Jr. in 8th. Josh Lokovitz in 9th. Brandon Wallace is in 10th. 11th going to be Mickey Isaac. Jeremiah Holt in the 12th position. Kyle Robertson 13th. You see the Po Man guys here with that strategy. Just didn't work out for him. 14th, Garrett Kendrick. Charles Phelps in 15th. Matt Clements 16th. Aaron Adcock in 17th. Travis Bieber 18th. Lucas Line 19th. Tracy Passett in 20th. And Gary Wright brings up the rear of the field. I'll tell you what, let's take a little break. Don't really normally do this. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Try to give time for the points to settle and see where everybody ends up, and we'll be right back with coverage here on the race. All righty, well, we're back. A little post-race show here presented by Flexible Freight Solutions, and the results are in. I don't have a graphic for you, but I have the point standings, and we'll see who it is. Jonathan Cofield will be your point seeder going into the final round, which doesn't matter. He'll be one of the 5 drivers. Michael Kostick going to be number 2. No surprise there. They both have great runs, finishing 3rd and 4th. 3rd place in the final 5. One of the few drivers that's going to be able to fight for a championship tonight. Stephon Davis comes away with that 3rd position. And after a scary end to the race, finishing in 17th position, Aaron Adcock going to take over the 4th spot. Now the final position is the last one that is going to make it into the playoffs. Who's going to be? Well, we've got it between quite a few drivers: Tracy Passon, Vicky Isaac, Brett Beaver, Charles Siemens Jr., and Brandon Wallace. And your 5th and final driver that is going to be battling for a championship is going to be Brandon Wallace. Congratulations to the top 5: Cofield, Kostick, Davis, Aaron Adcock, and Brandon Wallace. Congratulations to those 5. What a great season that they put on. But let's talk to our winner. I mean, got to talk to Andy Kurtz. He has been the winner multiple times this season, and then here tonight, he is going to take home the victory here at Texas. Andy, how you doing tonight, brother? Well, I'm doing great, man. That was a fun race to watch. You had a fast truck all night. You played that strategy just perfect. You know, if a caution comes out, you would have been in trouble, but it didn't. It stayed green, and y'all had the right strategy at the end, be able to get that track position, had the advantage on tires, and you never really looked back. Talk about your race, man. Well, yeah, it looked like it was a lot of fun. Y'all got the advantage, and man, it was just awesome to see y'all play it out. Knowing that Brett had the point standings on the line. It wouldn't have made a difference. But were there any conversations of like, hey, let me win, and so I can get the max points between you and Brett to try to get him in the final five? I mean, you obviously were not going to be able to make it in, although you did get really close, which I'm impressed. I mean, you did everything you needed to do. So, were there conversations about that at all, knowing how close maybe Brett could, especially with the trouble of of some of the other playoff drivers?
So, yeah, it's all good.
Well, Andy, I poo pooed all over your interview. I forgot to unmute your mic. So apologize for that.
Okay.
Hey,
Good.
look,
I heard myself and you
yeah,
heard me.
yeah,
It's all good.
you heard. I heard you. It was a private moment between me and the winner. But yeah, I mean, Andy, just a great season. I mean, I believe you had 3 wins on the season. I mean, just a really solid. I hate that you missed that point or that one race. We definitely be
Yeah.
talking about you in the final five. But I mean, you come out next week at Charlotte, and you go for two in a row. What do you say?
Yeah, man. I love Charlotte. Love my mile and a half. So yeah, I think gonna try to do the same thing there. I think the championship five are gonna start in the back. So uh, might give me some fun for a while until they catch up. But yeah, I mean, just treat it the same way. And best of luck to everyone who made the final four or final five.
Right. Well, there you go. Your winner, Andy Kurtz, who takes home the victory tonight. Who you got to thank here tonight?
Yeah, man. Just thank you as always. Awesome broadcast every week for us. Really appreciate it. And they're just a ton of fun to watch after each race. I want to thank Hardline Transport Solutions, uh, Puck, Chuck, Peg Leg Felts, Nodex Faster Pair, Kinder Farm and Ranch and Flexible Freight. Should have me muted on that part, not the first part.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, congratulations. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, man.
That was your winner, Andy Kurtz. Let's talk to second place, Brett Beaver. Oh, so close to that final five, but man, you were so far out, 10 points out coming to the to this race, and it was a long shot, but you couldn't win and get in. You had to point your way in, and dang if you didn't get close, just a few points out of that fifth place position or top five in the championship standings. But you gave her all she had. Great strategy. Come home in second. And you breathe it hard in the mic. I love it. Just letting it all out, and the whole season just came out of your mouth. I just heard it. So, man, a great season though. I mean, you were fast all season long. Tonight, no different. Great strategy. Got out front, and you did all you could do.
Yeah, I feel like I've shown improvement and gotten better. I wasn't sure of the point situation if I needed to get past Andy or not, but I was right there. I tried a little something different in 1 and 2 the last 2 laps, and it got me a little better of a run. Probably could have got to Andy's bumper with 2 to go in turn 3, but uh, I receded, and I was a nice guy, I guess. But second was still good. It was a good run, and I was glad to be competitive tonight.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, even if you would have passed him for the lead, you still would have come up short. I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but it's still a
Yeah, it
great
makes you
effort.
feel better.
Yeah, it's a great effort, man. It's really incredible. So, great season all around, and tonight no different. Just a solid run, great strategy, and finish second. So, congratulations, and man, who you got to thank? Can you sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, thanks for you guys doing this. No Hardline Transport Solutions is the main sponsor of this league, so I want to thank them and all the admins that run this. So can't thank you guys enough.
All right, well, there you have it. Second place finisher, Brett Beaver. Going to miss the playoffs, miss the final five by just a few points, but he is going to come back next week and be racing for another win. But man, who's going to be racing for a championship next week is going to be Jonathan Cofield. He's our third place finisher. Cofield, man, quiet race out of you. You run up front, you run in the top five. Yeah, I mean, you didn't really have to do much tonight. It was kind of an off night for you, and you come home in third place. Pretty good run as you look forward into Charlotte. Obviously, we want to, tonight. Not much for you to think about, but Charlotte, you got to feel really good. I know you're really good there, but your competition that's going to be racing with you's pretty good there as well. So, what's your thoughts going into next week? Going to race for a championship?
Excited. I'm excited, man. Looking forward to it. It wasn't. I had a pretty good night tonight. I don't know if you missed my 360 on pit road there.
I didn't miss it. I saw it for sure.
Yeah, that about took me out. But thankfully, I only tapped the wall a little bit there, stuck her in second, and burned her around. But yeah, good run by Bieber and Andy Kurtz. Kind of sucks he missed that one race. He'd be in with us, but I was kind of hoping they'd get into each other, kind of slow each other up. But no, they was running pretty good with each other.
Oh. You had a fantastic race, 360 in all, and come away with a third place finish. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good. But man, congratulations on your third place tonight. Congratulations on your bid to the final five. I mean, what's your thoughts going into Charlotte? Tell me about Charlotte. What do you think is going to be? What are you working on? And what are you thinking about going into that final race?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some laps in the car. I'd really like to win the championship, as I always have. I just always have a little bad luck, but yeah, Charlotte would be fun. A lot of these guys are really good at Charlotte. The tires, iRacing's update, I kind of liked it out there. The truck was kind of slipping around. You can move up a little bit and get a little grip, and when I stayed out on them old tires, they actually kind of evened out a little sooner, and I was able to keep up with them new tires. So I think it's gonna be a fun race like it was tonight.
Right. Well, there you have it. Jonathan Cofield, your points leader coming into this race. He will leave the points leader and be tied with everybody. Everybody will be tied for the points lead going into the final race. Man, congratulations on your third place finish tonight and your bid for the championship next week. Who you got to thank here tonight, Jonathan?
Yeah, I want to thank you and BSRN for doing our broadcast for us. Matt Kleeman, all he does in the league, teammates at Bandits, Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, Cofield Supply and Service, SM Racing Products. Go get you a button box, man. These things are awesome. Sim Shop, and that's about it, bud.
All right, well, there you have it. Jonathan Cofield going to be your top 3 finisher as we jump into. We're going to do some interviews with some guys who made it into the Final Four. We want to talk to our final drivers, and one of them here tonight is going to be Stefan Davis. Mr. Davis, we've been talking about you all season long. This is the first time we get to talk to you as you're up into the booth, as you've had some really, really good runs all season, and way to cap it off and get into the Final 5 with a 5th place finish. Congratulations. How does it feel to be a Final 5 driver?
Kind of surprised, really. I felt like I really haven't had much speed most of the season, but kind of step up the last couple races, get a couple of 5th place finishes was pretty good, pretty decent so far.
Well, you make that call to come down and get the next to last set of tires. Gutsy call. We saw a couple people. I mean, the guys who finished 1-2, they did the same thing. But if a caution would have come out or taken your last set, I mean, if a caution would have come out, it would have been disastrous for you. So were you nervous about that, or did you feel like that was the right call when you made it?
I'm always nervous with calls like that. I think some people took 2 tires at that stop and some stayed out, so I decided to go with 4. So I decided to just play the guess the game, and if it goes green the rest of the way, I think I'll get myself a solid top 5 if the strategy goes my way, and for once, strategy went my way. Able to drive up there and finish strong with it.
All right, well, looking forward to Charlotte. I know you probably wish it was a Richmond or North Wilkesboro, Martinsville, but Charlotte, I mean, everybody knows how to run that place. What's your strategy going into next week?
I'm gonna try to do a little practice throughout the week to see if I can find anything. I know it's a fixed setup, but usually I can always find something with steering ratio and offset. I always ran pretty well Charlotte in official races, so I think I can get the job done if luck goes my way and some other people have trouble. I think I can do it next week.
All right, I love to hear that confidence. Stefan Davis, though, with a nice finish tonight, top 5, and made his way into the final 5. Stefan, who you got to thank tonight? Any sponsor shout-outs?
I know, really sponsor shouts like the shout out to a couple buddies that watch me every week. Midwest Vandal and Sleepy 18 or Sleepy Elite 18. They watch me every week, so just shout out to those two.
All right, well there you have it, Stephon Davis, one of your final 5, going to be sitting there third going into that race. Congratulations, Stephon.
Thank you. See you guys next weekend.
There you have it. You can see the confidence just boiling over when you you get into the final 5. When you get to that final race, you got to feel like you can win it because you've been there all season long. He definitely feels that way. Somebody else who's been there all season long, but a little bit of a scare tonight. Aaron Adcock come in with a big lead, but ends up 2 points above the cutoff once everything was said and done. Aaron, I know you're battling a little bit of little sickness tonight, but tell me about that last run, knowing the fuel situation, even still having to come down pit road. I mean, what were your thoughts there when all that was playing out?
Well, I never would have dreamed it would have stayed green that long. I was hoping we'd have at least one more caution. I was getting kind of close on the tire sets tonight, and I just didn't want to come down too early and not have a set late, late in the run. And I don't know, I couldn't save 4 laps of fuel. I was kind of in a weird situation of do I want to wait on the leaders to pit and try to save fuel and still be 10th and still run out of fuel, or do I want to just try something? And so I started saving a little later than normal, but yeah, just sometimes all you need is a little bit of luck, and I hope I didn't use it all up tonight for next week.
Well, I think you'll be really strong at Charlotte. Seems like you've really turned up you kind of had a lull in the middle of the season, but here towards the end, definitely turned up the heat from that 17 machine. But yeah, I mean, just the weathering of the storm type of night. Sometimes you have to do that type of racing where you know, hey man, I goofed up on this. I got to make the best of it, and that's exactly what you did. But able to make it into the final 5. Talk to him about Charlotte. How you feel about that going into that track?
I was just turning a few laps actually. Just trying to get a little head start on it. Haven't raced it in the trucks in a while. I've run it in a few other cars, but just gonna have to put in a little time this week, do a little practice. Work on what makes the truck run the best. Really might have to get some of my guys to come in and run a test session with me and work on driving from the back to the front. That's going to be a challenge next week with all of us starting in the back. Just trying to maneuver and navigate traffic. Starting in the back and trying to work your way up towards the front without getting caught up in any. It seems like we'll typically have a little bit of a jitters there in the first couple laps of a race, and if you can kind of dodge that one, if we get a caution in the beginning, if you can kind of dodge that one and get everything gets settled in, then it's just a matter of hitting your marks from the drop of the green flag until something else happens. But yeah, just it's gonna be a twist. It's gonna be a interesting week next week at Charlotte.
All right, well, man, congratulations on making it in. You're actually about 5 points above the cutoff, so it wasn't super close. I think you'd have been all right either way. So, but either way, made it close, made it exciting at least. And but you'll be racing for a championship next week. Congratulations, Aaron. Who you got to thank? Who's got to thank any sponsors? Shout outs.
Yeah, my wife and kids, my parents, grandparents, everybody that's watching, all my teammates over at Po-Man Motorsports, all the guys here at Original Rebels Racing League. They appreciate everybody showing up each week. All our sponsors over here, all the admins that put in the hard work to help us do this. Appreciate you in the booth, Eddie. I know it's always a great replay to go back and watch throughout the week and learn some stuff from. So yeah, just excited for next week. Good luck to all the competition and all the top 5 guys. It's going to be a challenge. It's definitely not a pushover top 5. So it's going to be fun to get started next week, and yeah, just hope for the best.
All right, well, there you have it. Aaron Adcock makes it in the final 5. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
All right, Michael Kostick, been waiting very patiently. The 4th place finisher. Probably should have got him a little bit sooner, but Michael, a great race out of you. Kind of a weird race. I don't know if you had some damage, and maybe you could kind of end the debate, but didn't know if you had some damage or just kind of taking it easy tonight. Talk to me about what was going on with that truck. I mean, you came away with a 4th place finish, but it looked like you were really struggling there through the middle of the race.
Yeah, I had a little bit of damage from the one wreck, but I don't think that's what it was. I was just having a bit of an off night. I don't like this place, so just trying to get through the race.
That you got through the race for sure. You're pretty solid in the points, and you're going to come away with a spot in the final 5. Talk about Charlotte. How you feeling tonight going into that race?
I don't know. I think Cofield's probably going to be the one to beat there. He's pretty good at Charlotte. I've struggled there in the past, but hopefully with the oval refresh, pick up some speed and give him a good battle.
All right. Well, good luck to you next week. Congratulations. Who you got to thank here tonight?
Thank you for doing the broadcast. All the admins, Hardline, Transport Solutions, Cofield Asphalt Finishing, and all my teammates.
All right, well, there you have it. Michael Kostick coming away with the 4th place finish, and he'll be racing for a championship next week. And then finally, the most patient driver of them all, finally going to talk to Brandon Wallace. Brandon, how are we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, Eddie. How are you, sir?
Well, pretty good. You were there right on the bubble. Maybe you had the most stressful race out of anybody. Is you had the most to lose, but also the most to gain. Is you were right there on that cutoff, and everybody's gunning for you, and you're just trying to make it. You really didn't have a whole lot you could make up on maybe Stefan a little bit, but mainly you're just trying to stay ahead of those guys who were around you, and you were able to do that. You came away, you were able to avoid a lot of trouble that those guys had, and come away with the top 10. Looked like it was a struggle out there for you, but you're able to get on newer tires there towards the end and drive your way up through there. Talk a little bit about your race tonight and what your thought process was of, knowing where you were in the points and what you needed to do tonight.
Yeah, I was just watching. I knew the 4 guys around me, kind of where I needed to be and needed to hang with them. And then, of course, early on, it was more trying to save my stuff, thinking it was going to go green. And I was just trying to be easy on the truck and tires and fuel and everything to get there. And I just didn't have the lap speed here. And so, tried to hang on, try to stay out of trouble, and then, let the race come to me instead of just trying to burn my junk up fast. And so I was watching, where all they were, and I even stayed out 1 lap longer than everybody to lead a lap to get a point. Every point counts. So I was trying to, that probably cost me a couple, but, you don't know in the time of the heat of the battle.
Well, able to get it done. You got to be racing for a championship next week, Charlotte. Going to be a tough one. We're going to see one of those patented Brandon Wallace fuel strategy wins. Or are you going to go up there and just take it by force?
It depends on how the race goes. With all of us starting in the back, and that could add a little calamity to it. But, I know, Cofield and Kostick, I just don't have the raw speed to hang with those guys. But Charlotte's one of my better track. I seem to save tires there. I've won some 87s race there on fuel and everything else. So, we'll see in the truck how it comes out, but I'll do some practice this week, and hopefully it's not terrible.
All right, well, there you have it. Your final driver in the playoffs is going to be Brandon Wallace, takes that 5th spot, and good luck, man. Who you got to thank?
I want to thank you at VSRN, obviously, Matt Kleeman, all the other admins around here, Hardline Transport, all the sponsors of this league. We're coming to the end of the season, and we appreciate their help and everything they've done, and all the racers showing up each week.
All right, well, there you have it. Brandon Wallace takes the final spot here tonight, and that is going to do it for us as we are going to call it quits. But, man, what a fantastic way to end. Everything has come down to this. One more race. Charlotte Motor Speedway will send us to the offseason, and we'll be crowning a champion. Who's it going to be? I don't know. Going to be wild. been a great season so far. One of the best, in my opinion. A lot of people, a lot of participation. Plenty, 25-plus drivers almost every week. Just impressive. The racing and stuff has been really, really good as well. Just been a lot of fun. We got to give out some awards, though. I mean, the Andy Kurtz Hard Luck Award. I mean, I don't know if I really call it hard luck, but I mean, definitely Tracy Passons feels like he probably had a better finish in him and just didn't go his way. Just got caught up in stuff and then ended up with some damage. Just couldn't overcome it and gonna miss the playoffs for that. So he's gonna be your Andy Kurtz Hard Luck Award winner. As far as your hard charger, that's gonna go to Steve McDonald. That 68 machine going to win your No Neck Fast Repair Hard Charger Award. So congratulations to Steve, finishing in that 6th position. Great run for him. Definitely a great finish for Steve, and he'll made up 12 spots, 18-6. That's pretty impressive. Well, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. We'll be moving on to the final race. Gonna be a good one. I want to thank our sponsors: Flexible Freight Solutions, Andy Kurtz, No Neck Fast Repair, Chuck Tug, Peg Leg, Kinder Farm and Wrench, and of course, Hardline Transport Solutions for their sponsorship of the Rebels Truck Series. And that's it, boys. That's us, boys and girls. That's what we gotta do. We gotta go to Charlotte. That's it. That's all that's left. Crown champion. Who's it gonna be? Come back next week and find out. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you later.